In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the coolant temperature sensor on this Nissan Frontier with the 2.5 liter engine. This will be located on the back side of that engine. We'll access it through the passenger side fender well. Let's get started. With the vehicle safely raised and supported, use a 21mm socket to remove all 6 lug nuts and then pull the wheel off. On the back of the fender liner, we'll see this splash guard. It's held on with 3 Phillips head fasteners at the front. Let's remove all 3. There's one more underneath on the back side. Now this can be removed. Looking at the top where the fender liner meets the fender, there's a couple Phillips head screws here as well. One towards the back and one towards the front. Some more Phillips head screws on the bumper cover side. So right here where the fender, the bumper cover and the fender liner meet, there's one. Then further down, another. And underneath the front bumper, you'll see 2 access holes for 2 more Phillips head screws. All we have left is some push clips. All I have is one. There should be multiple throughout the fender liner, one here, this one here, and a couple towards the front. Like I said, I only have this one, so that's what I'll remove. I'll use a trim tool to pop out the center. Now it looks like mine just fell right out. It is mostly broken, so I will be replacing that and hopefully adding some more as well. Now you can take the fender liner and wiggle it out of place, push it towards the inside, and then towards the bottom, and that should unhook it. Pull it out. There we go. I want to move this harness a little bit, which means unclipping it from this retainer and unclipping it from this retainer here, just so I can push it to the side and give myself a little bit more room to stick my arm in there. To do that, you can use a couple different things. You could use a screwdriver, some pliers, whatever you can get in here to pinch on that little tab and push it up. There we go. Now this one up here is going to be the same, but it's going to be way more difficult to access since it's tucked up behind this bracket. So you might actually be better off with a trim tool just prying it out. There we go. Okay, I was able to pop that out. We'll push it to the side. Now we can see and have a lot better space in there to work. Now back here behind the engine we have this hose that's attached to this bracket. To make things easier, I will remove the hose from that bracket and remove the bracket using a 12mm wrench or socket. I'll break that free and pull it out. With that set aside, we can see our coolant temperature sensor right down there. We're going to reach in and there's going to be a locking tab that you have to press on and pull at the same time to disconnect the electrical connector. Unfortunately, the locking tab in this case is going to be underneath it. Well, I was able to press it and wiggle at the same time and pull. What I did is I put my finger around it, pressed with this, and pulled with my index and my thumb at the same time. You'll want to use a 19mm deep socket now to put over the coolant temperature sensor. Make sure that's fully seated. And then I'm going to move this hose again so I can sneak my ratchet back here and unthread that. There we go. Broke it free. Now we can remove this because it will most likely just come off by hand. I have a collection bucket underneath. Keep in mind that fluid will most likely start draining here. Because this sits so far behind the engine and on the bottom, there's no way to avoid spilling coolant when you take this out, no matter how much you drain it. I have the new sensor ready, so as soon as this one comes out, I can plug up the hole with the new one. Here's the new one. I'm going to swap them really quick. Perfect. All right, that one's starting to thread in. I put a little bit of thread tape on here, thread sealer. That's going to make sure that we have no leaks. And this, you want to just tighten until it bottoms out. That's as far as I can bring it by hand. Now I'll put my tool back on it and tighten it up. Move that hose again so we can fit our ratchet and socket. Still a 19 millimeter. And we'll just tighten this up all the way. All right, that got snug right there. So I'm going to give it just a little bit extra. That's it, about 1/8 of a turn. You don't want to over tighten that and break anything, but you do want to make sure it's sealed up. Take our tool out of there. We'll move this hose again so we can see our connector, which we now have to plug in. Spin the connector whichever way is needed. This doesn't always line up the same once you replace it. All right, make sure that clicks. That's locked in. So that is replaced. We'll put this bracket back that we removed to gain more access. There's a tab on the back side that'll stop it. Once it's bottomed out as you tighten it, it won't spin anymore, and that's the position that it needs to be in. So that tab is very helpful actually. And now we'll put our 12 millimeter tool back on here to tighten up that bolt. That's bottomed out. I'll just give it a little extra. That's it. It's just a small bracket. It doesn't need to be too tight, or you could damage the threads on the engine or the bolt. And of course, we'll put the hose right back in it. At this point, if you need to rinse any coolant here, go ahead and do that. You could use brake parts cleaner or some water, and of course have a collection bucket underneath to catch it all. We'll clip this harness back in at the top and on the bottom. Let's put the fender liner back up in place. Once you get it mostly lined up, you want to push it in, up, and then back out to kind of hook it up and over the fender. Let's put back some push clips. I have a bunch of new ones to install since my old ones broke, or well, most of them were missing really. Another one at the top in the center, and another one all the way in the front. Let's reattach the splash guard. 4 Phillips head screws, 3 go right here in the front, and 1 from underneath. And the ones that go up and into the fender. And 2 more screws right in the front underneath. Let's get the wheel back on. We'll start on all 6 lug nuts, bottom them out in a cross pattern, and then also in a cross pattern, we're going to torque them to 98 foot-pounds. 98 foot-pounds in a cross pattern, here we go. We'll double check them all. Because we lost a little bit of coolant, it's a good idea to at least check it, if not top it off. So under the hood, the radiator cap is located right at the front. Turn it counterclockwise and remove it. We'll set it aside, and we'll top off with the manufacturer specified coolant. All right, that right there is full, so we're going to cap it back off. There we go, job is done.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.